Hey, it's Brent with Pudgy Trumpets, and I just want to do a quick video today. It's got just on an iPad with nothing special. It's to show off the Shorty, which I'm building a batch here pretty soon, and some people have had questions as to whether they want the Shorty, the Shortay, a V4, and this video is to help answer those questions. The Shorty is the original instrument that has this wrap that I came up with a few years ago, and it uses an electroform copper bell with a 4 3/4 inch flare on it. And an electroform bell is one that is formed on a mandrel by depositing copper on the mandrel. It's a plating, basically, and then afterwards it's spun on a different mandrel, and that way you can shave down parts of the bell. Like usually this part is thinned down during that process, and perhaps the tail stays a little bit thicker. And a bead is put in just like a standard bell as well at that point. And so this is that horn. Electro-formed copper bells have been around for a long time. Kahn used them on their Coprion models. I believe Schilke is still using them in their copper-belled instruments. And contrary to popular belief, an electroform copper bell is actually quite bright, even though copper is thought of as a fairly dark material. It's not. And it can be with certain adjustments, but it's not so much the material that causes the darkness on a copper. So we'll compare this one, the Shorty, to actually I have 4 different bells set up on a Shortay, and those are made by Andy Taylor. And I asked him to make 4 different bells on 4 different mandrels, and he uses a sheet-on-sheet approach when he makes bells, which means it's a 2-piece bell. The front part, the flare, is spun out of a copper disc and forms that part of the bell, and then sheet is formed to make a tube and is formed on that part of the mandrel, and then the two are joined together with a brazed seam and spun as one unit, and then the bead is put in and the bell's finished like that. So that's how Andy makes his bells. So it's a completely different process than the electroform bells that are here, and actually does affect the sound of the horn quite a bit. So I'm just going to mess around here and give you some raw sound to try to figure out maybe if one of these speaks to you. And as far as the Shortays, that's just kind of for fun, trying to find out which bell is going to suit it the best. The principle of the Shortay is not to be super mellow, maybe just not quite as bright as the Shorty. A little more core, a little more depth to the sound. Some people might say a little darker. But I don't want it to get too mellow. It doesn't need to go too far towards the flugelhorn because I'm working on the mod for that. So hope this helps, and I'm just going to noodle for a bit here. So that's the Shorty with a deep V mouthpiece. And let's see what we have next here. I believe this is what I would consider, this is the Shortay. Got a big 5.5 inch bell on it. But if you look at the profile of the bell, it's not a massive throat on it. And that means it's not going to be too dark. And the 5.5 inch flare does help kind of spread the sound. It's not as focused as the 4 3/4, but the final dimension of the flare, the rim, is not as important as some people would like to think. So let's try this one. That's bell 1 for the SHORTAY. It's already been made as a prototype, actually. It lives in New York City with a trumpet player who actually, his main instrument is the piano, but he wanted a cool trumpet to play around on occasionally. This is bell 2, 5 1/8, if you can see. I'm kind of holding this one together because the bell isn't actually soldered yet. It's got a little bit fatter through this area. I don't remember where I left off on the song. Well, maybe we just start here. I'm going to actually just pop that bell off. So I consider that bell to just be a little bit more mellow than bell 1. And honestly, I think that's the bell I'm leaning towards in the projection version. And I'm going to have some sort of trumpet day here locally where, hey, I've got a visitor. I can put things on out there for local college students. There's 2 universities near me, and I'd like to connect with some of the players there and just get their opinion. Let's move on here. Got bell 3. I was considering this bell, but I think it's just too mellow. It's not really what I was going for in this concept. I think it might be better suited for something like the mod. I'm considering it for the mod, and let's just see what you think of this. Well, already I can tell you with this setup, I would need to really adjust some things to use this bell. It's pushed all the way in. We got some intonation issues right off the bat, and that's what happens. You know, you can't just slam different bells onto different things. There needs to be adjustments made. So I will make these adjustments when it comes time to use this bell on whatever project I end up with. But intonation aside, let's just listen to kind of the sound that the bell makes and not get too hung up on intonation, even though it makes me cringe. Yep, that is very flat in some of those notes. That just gives you an idea. That was the direction I was headed for a while, but I think it's too much. Look at the size of that thing. That's a big bell. Probably better suited towards the mod. You can let me know in the comments what you think. And finally, this thing was an accident. This bell wasn't supposed to happen. It was definitely supposed to be a mod design bell, and Andy and I just got our signals crossed, and he sent me a shepherd's crook version of it, and he said, please don't order very many of these because they're very hard to bend. And I said, yeah, no problem. I didn't order one in the first place, but I have one. And he did make me a mod shape after this that I can test, but this is basically what I've been working with on the mod to try to get it to play in tune with the sound I want, the shapes I want, all of that. It's a process, but I thought, hey, I got this bell. Let's just put it out there and check it out. see what you think. I haven't really played this yet, and so the intonation might be super funky, and definitely would need some adjustments with this setup. It's just not designed to work with the way I have this horn set up. This configuration works with bells 1 and 2, obviously not with bell 3, and well, let's find out with bell 4. Well, there you are, from kind of brightest to mellowest, and look at that hunker. That's a big, big bell. I'm looking forward to doing something with this bell, probably just not on a Shortay. Well, now that you heard that, let's go all the way back to the Shorty so you can appreciate the gradual adjustment from this thing to that thing. And there you have it. Shorty, Shortay, bell 1. And maybe you can get just a feel for it here. Probably not very revealing as far as the way the bells work, but bell 2, bell 1. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. You can put them in the comments, although especially if you've got one on order, just reach out to me via email, or phone is fine too. It's all on my website. Again, thanks for checking things out.